PNG of like a parking lot.
I know, right? Oh. I am stuck, yes. Yeah, can you see what I mean when I say that this game is low effort? Okay, I guess, bro. I unlocked snail mode. Hello, what the fuck are you?
얀데레 바이러스. 거짓말이잖아.
So, Yandere Virus released its demo, and as someone who's been looking forward to playing the game, I decided to try it out. I had my hopes slightly killed off before when I watched the game's trailer because the gameplay didn't look very promising. And for some reason, they completely lied on the game's page saying that your friend was a Yandere, and now they updated to your precious friend because your friends don't actually get to play as the Yandere. They're just AI-controlled Yanderes. So, why was I excited for this game? I was excited because the formula for a really interesting and fun game is there.
Yeah.
Why did you bring him here?
You're gonna get corned.
He's emoting on me.
He lost you.
He actually did lose me. What can I say? I'm just really good at this game.
I can tell.
I'm a professional. The concept of 4 players being able to get infected by a Yandere virus while another player controls a Yandere is still up in the table, and they could still take that route. Do I think they're going to? Absolutely not. This game seems to be very lazily put together, to say the least.
절대 놓치지 않아.
And I personally don't think that they're going to put any effort into the actual game. But we can only hope, and I can only hope. So, I want to talk first about a few of the positives of the game. The game controls very well, in my opinion, in the sense that moving around feels fun. I like sprinting around, I like walking, I like crouching. Jumping is a bit jank, but everything else is kind of fun to do. Now, don't get it twisted. Moving around on the map that they made is awful. I think the atmosphere of the graveyard that we have in the demo is really interesting. I think it looks really nice. I think it's very pretty. But it's also unoptimized as all hell. And the Yandere designs and the character designs, they're okay. I don't hate them. I don't love them either. But I would say that it's a positive. They have a lot of characters for the demo. They have 8. From what I could tell, they all play the same. It's just, hey, you pick your favorite character, I guess, which is nice to have. On top of that, we have the 2 Yanderes featured in the demo.
Yo, what's up?
Never mind. Take it back.
Yo, what's up?
Ow! I was just carrying a pumpkin!
I personally think they look fine. I like them. I think they're very cute. Specifically the one in the little Alice dress. I really like that one. That's all I can praise the game on. Now for endless amounts of critique. For starters, the game is all over the place. For a game called Yandere Virus, there's a lot of vegetation that comes to life. Hello, what the fuck are you? I don't really get what that has to do with like the virus or anything. I feel like that's kind of just something they pulled out of their ass just to have an excuse to not actually add invisible walls to their map, because all that the plants are there to do is to prevent you from clipping out of bounds. They do a very bad job at that, by the way. Got it.
Maybe you can get past the evil plants that'll eat you if you get the high ground.
That's what I'm trying to do. Here, so there's a plant down there. I'm out. I might be out this time. What the f— Okay, so they have invisible walls this time, but I am still out of the map. And on top of that, after you cure a Yandere, and this is gonna sound so out of left field and so random, but the only reason they have the vegetation is that once you cure a Yandere, a fucking corn version of Tungsuher just shows up to take their place. Bro sounds like Monoculus and looks like the fucking corn boss from Castle Crashers if he was mixed with Tung 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 Sahur. It's pretty pathetic. Another critique is that the game just seems to not handle the pathing very well for the AI. What I mean by this is that if you jump anywhere that's elevated or you go to a place that you're not supposed to be, the game will drop frames like crazy trying to find the path for the AI to navigate to. Overall, making the game run terribly. Holy lag.
Yeah, that was bad. Oh! You juked her?
Well, worse than it already runs. This one I can give a pass because it's a demo, but the game has a lot of bugs, but this is to be expected with a demo. I'm assuming that they clearly didn't playtest it, which, you know, kind of the fault of the devs. I feel like they could have hired like a few players to play the game and look for bugs before they release a demo. The game's art style clashes within itself because you're in a graveyard. There's these futuristic robots and devices that you're supposed to be using to cure your friends, which came out of complete nowhere. There's this overgrown vegetation trying to attack you, and Tung 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 Sahura, but as a corn monster. The Yanderes are walking around, and for some reason, your goal is to collect platonic pumpkins. Now, I'm not gonna judge it, you know, like, whatever. You make your objective whatever you want it to be. Why do you collect these pumpkins by hitting them with a shovel? That is beyond me. Now, despite all of these flaws, I did, in fact, enjoy playing the game a little bit. It's fun, but it can be better. It can be way better, because if the full game releases like this, I personally don't think anyone's gonna want to play it, because it's very bad and incredibly janky to control. The settings are terrible as well. The sensitivity is very low. I'm lucky that my mouse has a built-in sensitivity changer, so I could adjust it to my liking. But if you just play the game regularly and you don't have a mouse that can do that, you're gonna find that the camera is a complete slog to control because the very high isn't even that high. I would argue that like the very high setting is like 10% of a regular slider in most modern games. It's really bad. The language setting always resets whenever you go back to the main menu. So if you close the game and relaunch it, resets your language settings. If you go into the game and then come back to the main menu, resets your language settings. It is very annoying. Another thing that's very easy to do in this game is break out of bounds.
Team PNG of like a parking lot.
I know, right? Oh, it took me like a minute of sitting down and was like, huh, I wonder if I can break out of bounds to instantly break out of bounds. You can do it in the lobby. Yeah, nice game. You can do it in the playing area. Oh! I'm out.
How's it look?
There's an invisible wall, and there's a plant killing me. Ow. It's very easy to do. Now, I've been bashing on the game for a while, but what would I suggest? Because I think it's easy to bash on things, but not easy to provide solutions, so I'm gonna offer a few things. For starters, take the route that most people assume this game was going to take, and make the Yanderes playable, because that is like the main appeal. You die to a Yandere, you become a Yandere because it is a
Yandere Virus.
With that, you would need to expand these maps because right now the main map that they gave us in the demo is basically broken down into 3 main areas. The area with the Alice looking Yandere, your starting area with the little robot and the place where you take the pumpkins to, and the area with the blonde Yandere on the left. So you have the Alice to your right, blonde Yandere to the left, and the center is your main area. If the Yanderes were players, then well, it would be incredibly easy to find the players. So I think the map will need to be expanded quite a lot. Another thing that needs to be changed is just the Yanderes themselves, because right now I don't think they're Yanderes at all. They kind of just walk around and kill people with karate moves. You know, Yanderes are not known for that. They're kind of known for stabbing people. So what I think they should do instead is they should try to kill you with a knife, and once they kill you, they take you back to like their starting area and infect you, so that way you become one of them. With that, I think the pumpkins would need to like be a lot more effective at making the platonic healing, because, well, they would need to respawn because there are so many pumpkins on the map because the game wasn't intended like to be played like this. Another thing that I would do is honestly just get rid of this whole vegetation thing. It kind of just makes the game run like ass, and they're literally just there to replace invisible walls. And I don't think most people have an issue with invisible walls preventing you from going out of bounds. I think that's literally what they're known for. The models are very janky, the game runs like ass, it takes really long to load, and once again your frames drop like crazy whenever the AI can't navigate to a certain area, so that would need to be fixed as well. You will need to fine-tune most of these maps because, as you can see from the gameplay teaser and from playing the game yourself, you get stuck in geometry quite often. And that's just overall pretty frustrating to do, because when you're running, the last thing you want to worry about is that you're getting caught in like a little thing that you can barely see in the grass. That's pretty frustrating. The Yanderes, on top of like having to work differently design wise, they need to work differently gameplay wise as well, because right now if a Yandere spots you, unless you abuse their bad pathing, there's nothing you can do to lose them, because they are faster than you, they don't have to stop sprinting, and overall you just aren't losing them unless you abuse their bad pathing. And if the main enemy in your game requires you to abuse a flaw in your game to be fair, quote unquote, then your enemy design is bad. What I think should happen is that the survivors, or little fucking players, the little, what do I call them? They aren't called anything in the in the game. Fuck it, the survivors. Who cares? The friends. There you go. The friends. I think they should have a little bit more stamina. 60 is kind of low, and I think the Yandere should be slightly slower, and they should also lose you a lot faster. I think crouching should make them lose you faster. Aside from that, I genuinely think that this game has a bright future if the devs care for it. I think that this game could allow workshop support as well, so that we can mod the game and add more maps. And by fixing the Yanderes so that they can be playable, I genuinely think that this game could be a really big game. But as it stands right now, in case you were tempted to play the demo but you're on the fence about it, I would not recommend Yandere Virus at all.